What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now, come on, in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you subscribe on podcast and Spotify. Hey, Alexa, play Sooner State of Mind podcast. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. Sooner state of mind, family, what is good? It's been a tough week. And sorry that you feel that way. The only thing there is to say, every silver lining's got a touch of gray. I will get by. We will get by. We will survive. Sooner Nation, man. It has been a minute since we rolled into the week after putting a total beatdown on an opponent. Granted, that opponent was only Maine, but you know what? We needed something to feel good about, and we got it. We got a ton of them feel goods, okay? Our Oklahoma Sooners beat the Maine Black Bears 59-14, and it was a big old serving of just what the doctor ordered. I needed it. You needed it. Collectively, we needed it, and we got it. Now let's try to build off of that. Because you know why? At this moment, this week, on the schedule, this is the biggest game of the year for our Sooners. We win on Saturday, and it guarantees us a bowl game. It won't be the bowl game that we wanted, but you know what? For how this season has gone, I will take what we can get. Whatever crazy sponsors on the front of it. Another game, more bowl practices. It's all good. So on Saturday, our Oklahoma Sooners go on the road to take on the number 24 ranked Missouri Tigers. Traditionally, the Sooners have dominated this series. 67 wins to just 24 losses and 5 ties. It's been a minute since they played. The last time was in 2011. Surprisingly, a Sooners win. JK, we always crush these fools. Sooners won that game 38-28. Landry Jones threw for almost 450 yards. And Norman's own Ryan Broyles had a bunch of them. 13 receptions, 154 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I would love to see some of those numbers from JFA and whoever is out there for the Sooners playing wide receiver. Speaking of playing wide receiver for the Sooners, got a little bit of the potential for a little good news regarding that. While he didn't specifically name names, JFA did say on Tuesday, I feel like on the field you have 2 explosive guys coming back that are key pieces to our offense. I'm assuming that's Farouk, and I'm assuming that's Burks, okay? And both of those would be pretty good gets for this offense. An offense that's coming off their best performance of the season. Jackson Arnold against Maine, 15-21, 224, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions. And now that's back-to-back games where Arnold has played pretty good football, maybe his best football of the season. Not only that, it's the way he's looked doing so. Some really good athletic plays, for the most part, making really good decisions, taking care of the football. Critical. and he's doing a great job of that. And now, if he can get Burks and Farouk back, this offense might start rolling and then keep rolling. I think that's the first Limp Biscuit reference on the show. Only took us 60 plus episodes to get there. Speaking of receivers, JJ Hester, man, this cat is so close to having it all start to click. Had the big 90-yard touchdown, the longest in field history there, over 100 yards receiving on the day, the first time that's happened for a Sooner this season. And I'm rooting so hard for this cat to take that next step, to be a complete receiver. I do see a little improvement every week. He's just got to work on those hands, get on the jugs machine every day after practice. Do what you got to do. No bobbles, no drops, just lock it down. I like this guy, dude. I think he could be a dynamic weapon. Just got to keep improving, just get there. I think he can. There's also a lot of excitement around Jacob Jordan, too, with good reason. He's been the go-to guy for Arnold these last couple of games. Had the huge touchdown against Ole Miss right before halftime. Some really big catches last week. And that got me thinking that, man, we miss Drake Stoops even more than I thought we would. Drake was money every time we needed someone to make a big play. Drake got that done. So consistent. Dude was always open. And more than that, you could always count on him, especially on third downs or late in the game when you have to have it. He got it for us. And, you know, not that that's an easy role to fill, but we just haven't had someone be able to do that. And now Drake was a special, special player for the Sooners. So I don't think you can just replace what he did because he brought those intangibles, but we need someone to step into that role when it's time to go. You can count on him. So maybe that's in process. Maybe someone can step into that. But Drake, we definitely miss you, buddy. But you know what else has got me really stoked? It's what I've seen out of the run game the last couple of weeks. Looks like it's starting to come together. And last week was by far the best this OU run game has looked the entire season. I know it was Maine, but the main reason it looked so good, Javonte Barnes. What a welcome sight. Dude went off 18 carries, 203 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Do the math, people. That's over 11 yards a carry. And that is what I am talking about. That's the potential that's been there. Can we build off of that? Keep it going. Hopefully so. Hopefully there's a lot more of that. And as a team, not just Javonte, as a team, these Sooners, 52 carries, 381 yards, and 3 more touchdowns. 6 total. I know it was Maine, but still. Don't rain on my parade, people. We got to get our joy where we can find it. And I found some joy in that performance last week, okay? So we're not going to apologize for winning games against whatever opponent is on the field. But let's hope that success from last week transfers to this week because it is going to be a little better of an opponent. But that also got me to thinking, is Joe John going to mess around and keep this job? What does Joe John have to do to keep it? Well, starts with beating Mizzou. We don't get this game. I don't think there's much possibility there. But I also think the Sooners need to beat either Bama or LSU. And then I think things will probably be looking pretty good for him. And even if the offense just produces enough to win those games and we don't get the wins, then he might be back. We get all 3 of those wins, I think JJF will definitely be back in the mix, depending on the progress that the offense makes. And if we win those games, we're indicating that the offense looked pretty good in doing so. Now, he might have an outside shot without going 3-0, but overall, feeling the temperature, putting your finger on the pulse of the events that need to transpire, it feels like it's too critical of a decision and a hire to not make a hire that really moves the needle. It's got to get some excitement around the program. It's got to get some excitement with the donors, the NIL, the players that we're going to continue to recruit. That being said, I would love for Joe John to make it a very difficult decision for BV. And if we can somehow win these last 3 games, I think dude will have earned a shot. So we will see. So lots on the line for Joe John. Do we keep him? Will he come back if he's in a different capacity next year? Probably not. So let's see what we can get going. Beat these Mizzous, have a week to work on it, and then no rest for the wicked. It's not letting up. It's getting even tougher. So, but first things first, OU at 24 Mizzou. Bet Online has our Sooners as 2.5-point favorites on the road. And that line has shifted quite a bit. We started out as dogs. Now we're favorites. And that line shifting leads me to believe that Missouri's quarterback Brady Cook will not be playing in this game. But even if he does, there is no reason the Sooners can't get out of there with a win. Because why? Because a big part is this Sooners defense. And we're starting to see more of these young bloods getting some PT. And I am digging it, baby. David Stone, even with that club up front, starting to turn up, got that sack. He got a little taste. He wants more. And I think there is plenty more from this dude moving forward. And next year when it's him and Jaden Jackson, watch out, baby. It is going to be something special. Boganowski, Hardy, Peyton Bowen, Reggie Powers III. There are playmakers for days. PJ, too, is a little banged up. But I am still completely stoked about the future of this defense. These youngins are hungry, and hopefully they get to eat on Saturday. And hopefully Tiger is on the menu. Speaking of defense, Danny Stutzman was named a Buckus Award semifinalist. I don't know if you know this or not, but Danny Stutzman is one of the top players in college football and one of the most iconic Sooners to roll through in a long-ass time. And he's about to be in OU's top 10 in career tackles and a couple TFLs away from being in the top 5 in TFLs. So you look at the long line of Sooners defenders, it's pretty elite company. So he'll probably do both of those, and we'll see, what happens the rest of the season, how many more tackles and whatnot, how he produces. But will be a beloved Sooner for quite some time. Another fun fact on Danny Stutzman's senior thesis, the question was, what is courage? And Stutz received an A+ for turning in a blank page with only his name at the top. And hopefully next time he has a paper due, that paper also says Buckus Award winner. Pulling for you, Stutz. Hope you get it. You deserve it. Coming back for this senior year, greatly appreciated. I know it's not gone the way that we want this season to. But nonetheless, man, that dude is a Sooner through and through, and I think he did improve his draft stock. He's learning. He's going to make a great pro, and he's still got a few weeks left and hopefully a bowl game left to really set himself in the Sooner record book. So hopefully he comes out and has a great game on Saturday. And the opponent, obviously, Missouri. So let's get into a little of these Tigres. Now, before their bye week, they got destroyed by Alabama, 34-0. They were without their quarterback, Brady Cook, in that game, who might be out again this week. We talked about that earlier. Coach Drink on Tuesday said Cook has done everything in his power to prepare himself to play. That's Coach Speak 101, people. Now, the school will have to release his availability on Wednesday evening. We couldn't wait that late to do the show, but even so, I doubt we will get a definitive answer. But like I said, that line moving a little bit leads me to think that dude is going to be out. And he is banged up. I think it's an ankle and something else. And they definitely want him to go in this game because if he can't, it will be Drew Pine. And that dude has been a turnover machine, okay? And for us, that's a good thing. But even if it is Pine, we have to make sure he cannot get the ball to Lex Luthor Burden. You might know this cat. Or former Sooner Theo Weeze. No Weeze in the juice, major, buddy. Now, both of those will be easier said than done. But that's the task at hand. And if it is Pine, we got to slow down that run game and force him to make plays. Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll, they've both been pretty good, averaging right around 5 and 6 yards a carry for those Tigers. And overall, this Mizzou team pretty solid on defense too. But as we alluded to at the top, take them to the top, this is a must win for our Sooners. So I don't care about them. I don't care who's playing. Line them up and let's freaking go. It is all on the line. We need our best game of the season. Totally capable of that. Getting some guys back at receiver. Hopefully healthy enough up front. JFA continues to make good decisions. Build on that running game. Hopefully we can keep that going. Our defense do what it do. There is no reason we can't get that win. Beat them. And then get to the bye week. Get some of that feel good popping, baby. We need it. It's been a rough season. It's been a rough week. I need some of that good juju, baby. That good mojo. Them feel goods. I need it. I'm depleted. Need to stock that tank. Fill it up, okay? And then if we can do that, get to the bye week with one more win, bowl eligible. Let's see what happens in those last two games. Why not? You know? Why not? But we got to have this one. Lock in that bowl eligibility. Get those extra practices and let this team continue to build. Let them young bloods get more reps and then try to have the season that we wanted to next year. Schedule doesn't get any easier next year. You just flip all our home and away games, and there you go. But whatever. Who cares? This is the path we've chosen. It's all about getting the bowl game, okay? Now, speaking of bowl games, the first 12-team playoff rankings came out. Coming in at 12, the undefeated BYU Cougars, Alabama Crimson Tide at 11, Indiana Hoosiers at 10, the Ole Miss Rebs at 9, Penn State, Notre Dame, Tennessee, and Miami. Top 4 seeds coming at 4, Texas, Georgia at 3, Ohio State at 2, and Dylan Gabriel and those Oregon Ducks at number 1. So, as of Friday of this week, that would give us tasty. That would give us first round matchups. Number 12, Boise State against number 5, Ohio State. That would be in Ohio. Number 11, Indiana at Texas. Ole Miss at Tennessee. And Penn State against Notre Dame. How sick would those games be on the campuses of those teams? Absolutely nut house. Can you believe how crazy it's going to be? I mean, And you know what? No matter who plays who, this 12-team playoff will be light years beyond and better than anything else that has ever happened up to this point in college football history. And I am here for it. Tradition, man. Bowl games, man. No. 12-team playoffs, bro. That is what I am talking about. What are you talking about? Now, still lots of football left to be played, and a lot of those rankings and matchups are going to change, but I guarantee you it is going to be pretty good. Now, we do have some tasty games this weekend. Got Florida at number 5, Texas. Bet Online has them Horns as 21.5-point favorites. Could this game be kinky? Florida is not really putting full games together, bits and pieces. I don't think they'll have enough to be chomping down on some Bevo, but I will be rooting for that. Number 3, Georgia at number 16, Ole Miss. Georgia, them Bulldogs, 2.5-point favorites on the road. And this might be it. If Ole Miss can't get this game, they are probably out of the playoff. Georgia can deal with one more loss, but they want to, keep improving, get a chance at the SEC championship. They cannot mess around with Ole Miss, but Ole Miss went off on Arkansas last week. So Arkansas is not Georgia, but Dart was slinging it. So Lane will have them boys fired up. Will it be enough? We're going to find out on Saturday. And then it is number 11, Alabama at number 15, LSU. Crimson Tide, 3-point favorites on the road. And this is a loser leave town game, like the old wrestling matches. Loser leaves town, or loser gets their head shaved. Loser this one, I think, is Dunzo too. Winner has to win this and continue to roll. But I think whoever loses this one is probably out. That is going to be a huge game. It's a night game. So that's when LSU does their best work. Brian Kelly needs a signature win. Getting it against the Tide will probably be there. And if Alabama loses this game, it's going to be pitchforks and torches through Tuscaloosa. Coach, lock your doors. And then South Carolina at Vandy. BetOnline has the Cox at 3.5-point favorites on the road. That's a little spicy game. If one of those two teams can finish strong and run the table, they might have an outside shot of being one of those top 12 seeds. Doubtful, but you never know. As we see every week, something crazy happens. So probably not going to happen, but this will be a fun game no matter what. And then we have number 9, BYU, in-state rival at Utah. The undefeated Cougs are only 4-point favorites there. It's been a disappointing season for the Utes with Cam Rising just, not being able to go most of the year. And BYU has kind of put it all together. They've had to get a couple wins late, but they do everything pretty well. So I am rooting for BYU to keep going, stay unblemished, and see what happens. But it starts with beating your in-state rival, which we know those games can be a little tricky. So good luck to the Cougs. And then it's Nevada at number 12, Boise State. Boise State is 24-point favorites in this one. Ashton Genty is having an insane year. Will it be enough to get into the Heisman race? Probably. Well, it'll be in the race, but they love the glamour boys. It is a quarterback highlight for that award, but Genty is doing some incredible work, printing up money as we've seen this year. The running back is back in the NFL. Dude is working his way into a top 15, a top 10 pick in next year's NFL draft. So I would like to see Boise State get in there too. Why not? Let's kink this thing up. Who cares? It's going to be fun. If you are a football junkie like myself and you love college and you love the pros and you're into the NFL, make sure you check out the Trend Zone. You can find that at footballdudes.com. And just like with Sooner State of Mind, you can subscribe to both of those podcasts on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's free, people. Do it. And if you do it, he said do, you will not miss any of the good stuff. Also, head on over to Believe.com. That is BLEAV.com. Go to shows, type in Sooner State of Mind, and you are locked. We have a ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere. Believe.com. And if you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to the YouTubes, search the Football Dudes. We are there. Go ahead and like, go ahead and subscribe, and go ahead and comment. Tell me what you're digging about the season. Tell me what you're not digging about the season. Whatever you want to talk about, I am there for you. I can listen. Let's get a dialogue going, people. Sooner State of Mind is brought to you by Bet Online. My name is Casey Mallon, and I am in a Sooner State of Mind.